Hello, I am the Deathwalker, and it feels like the way the video is set up, it feels as though I'm looking into your planet and bringing forth some sort of warning. And from that point of view, I just want to bring up this idea of death so we could diffuse the concepts, ideas, and beliefs. And I've sat with people from all walks of life. You name it, I've sat with them. All different religions, cultures, races, political views. And there's nothing more than put you back into your place when you discover that you're going to die. Or your partner is, or a family member is, or a friend is, or an acquaintance or a stranger through your friends that shares a story of someone that just found out that they have an illness and they only have a certain amount of time to live. And so we tend to come from a place of shock when we hear that news. Or if we have a friend that loses someone quickly. We're trying to grasp and figure it out, and again, shock occurs. Or if you've ever been at a funeral, and there might be a couple people at the funeral that are like, why did you go? And for me, there's nothing wrong with any of those ways of going about it. Everybody's in their own place, their own way of figuring things out. There are things that they would like to look at, and there are things that they don't. And most people don't want to look at or be with death. And one of the things that death teaches us is that it's the great equalizer. Because it's going to happen to all of us. Every single one of us. We don't know when, we don't know how, we have no idea. And because we don't want to look at it, my sense is that is the reason why we're constantly making to-do lists or running around or chasing or trying to keep busy in the day. But you know what? As you know, when it's over with, it doesn't matter how many lists you accomplished or how many times you ran away or how many times you were scared or how many times you regretted or any of that stuff. None of it matters. The home, the money, none of it. And there's nothing wrong with any of it because we've designed a society that we've said to people that these are the things that are important to you. And if you buy into those ideas, that's wonderful. So by buying into those ideas, we hoard, we humiliate people, we shame them, we judge them, we criticize them for not participating in the vision of an idea that was put on us. And so now you've been told that you're going to die, or you have to deal with death now. So all the things that used to matter, that were important to you, drop off and no longer matter. And then other people that are around you, they don't really understand why the things that used to matter to you don't matter. And of course, the lesson that we get through someone dying, hopefully, is we don't have time. We don't have time to regret. We don't have time to look at the past. We don't have time to hang around people's energy that we don't want to hang around with. We don't have time to hang around with people that if you're going through something, they humiliate you first and put you down and let you know that what you did was wrong and they would have done it differently, and then they help you out. Right? We're no longer wasting energy with people that are arrogant and prideful that have to be right and make you wrong. Right? So there's a lot of things that when we come in our contemplation, or we sit with it, or we journal with it, or we meditate on it, and we sit with death, it opens us up to life. And then we see why we're so scared of life. We understand now why we didn't take that risk in life, why we didn't go for it, why when we had the opportunity in our life we didn't take it. Why? Because we were so scared and in fear of dying and running from it, we didn't see the opportunity to take it, to take life. That's why death is such a powerful teacher. I was sitting with a woman the other day, and she began to, I guess you would say, confess to me. Talk about her regrets, talk about a lot of things, and then she just began to just cry. And I just listened. Because what I've learned in my years of bereavement support and grief is that unless somebody wants my opinion, I'm just going to listen. And that seems to be the best superpower that I offer. She went through all kinds of emotions. And then there was kind of this silence. And she said, "It feels so good to be seen and heard." I imagine this is what heaven feels like. See, most of us are in a rush. Or most of us are trying to control other people, or trying to control the situation in front of us, or whatever we're doing to deal with life. But most people don't have the capacity to listen. Most people are about themselves. I think I brought up in our last conversation that once you get out of yourself and you stop thinking about yourself, because that's all people do is think about themselves all day long, right? How's this affecting me? How's this going to look like in front of my friends and family? How's this going to make me look? Right? You walk around and you got a shortness of breath because you're caught up in your mind and you're thinking all the time, and so your breath is cutting off because your thoughts keep getting in the way. You're not really getting full breaths, and because you're not oxygenating all these organs and blood cells in the body, then the body goes to fight and flight syndrome, and now you're dealing with that 80 times a day because you're just thinking about yourself all day long. And then someone says, "Hey, you're going to die, man." And miraculously, you stop thinking about yourself. And then you start thinking from a place of appreciation and gratitude, and you don't know what to do. All right? Now you're in the unknown. And you're not comfortable in the unknown. That's why you set up all these comforts. You set up watching sports all day, or you set up not spending time and listening to your kids, let's say, or not spending time and listening to your folks, or not spending time and just sitting and listening to people rather than judge them and control them and manipulate them and deceive them and not trust them and walk around and 800 questions, and before you know it, here you are. And you're in front of people, doctors, palliative care people, bereavement support people, chaplains, social workers, and they're all trying to explain to you what is happening, that they want you to accept and your family to accept that you're dying. This is what is happening. And as much as you spent your entire life thinking about yourself and denying this moment, it's happening. So what we want to do here is, can we accept our death before we actually die, so then we can live the life that we would like to live? Rather than, oh, here's some worry, let me get through this worry to get to what I need to do. Or here's some anxiety and I'm taking medication and I'm really moving through this. I don't know if I can move forward. And then all of a sudden you take a step forward, you go, that feels good. And then before you know it, you're starting to move in the right direction. My point is that life, nature offers you little small fears, little deaths to get you to the big one. So your whole life is spent fearing and moving. Most of the time when you say, I love you, I feel like what people should say, if they're going to be honest, is, I fear you. I don't know if we necessarily know what love is until we've come to the idea that this thing's going to end. And then we break into complete awareness, and in that awareness it has no judgment, no condemnation. It is purely unconditional. Pure awareness is purely unconditional. And once we're aware of something that we are doing in our life, we are able to change it. And then we begin to observe ourselves, and then we begin to observe the people in our lives, and we begin to take things in. We begin to relax and become more patient and see things that are unfolding. And we begin to just decompress and realize how exhausting it's been to run around, to consume, to overconsume, to be told by the media what we need and what musicians we need to like, and what sports teams we need to like, and what political parties matter and what political parties don't matter. And then we're told all day long by people in corporations what coffee we should like. Maybe we shouldn't like coffee. Maybe you're drinking too much wine. Maybe you're not drinking enough wine. Maybe you shouldn't drink wine at all. Whatever it is. Because it's all based on this idea of fear. And to me, when we look at fear of life, people are afraid to live. They're afraid to be successful. They're afraid to speak up to people. They're afraid to be themselves. They're disassociated from their bodies. They're afraid to be in their own bodies. They're afraid of losing someone. They're afraid of losing. They're afraid of not being right. So they live in a place of constant judgment. And here's the thing. Everybody does it. I hate to break it to you, but we're all doing the same thing. We all have the same bodies, right? If you're a man and a woman, there are a couple of different things that are different, but the majority of what we have in our bodies is, like I said, we have a heart, we have lungs. We have this breath that is breathing us without us doing anything. For some reason, we have a mind that is constantly thinking about itself, about protecting itself and its own survival, and how's this going to affect me, and what should I do, and maybe I shouldn't do anything, and all day long, people. And then you have people that are trying to control everything. Right? And then you have a certain group of people that think that they have power over people. And they don't even have power over anybody. Unless we give it to them. So this is the idea of fear and what it's doing to us as a society, and we're not aware of it. Right? We're not even aware of our own death. We don't want to look at it. Right? Someone said that you are born and then you die, and what matters is what you do in between. And what's fascinating to me is, unfortunately, we have to wait till we are physically going to die for us to apologize to our partners and our family and our friends, for us to actually love more deeply, appreciate more, right? And then on the reverse, someone close to us passes away and we don't learn the lesson. We still hold on to them. We can't move on. We can't move forward. We don't know what to do. Or poor me again, right back to the like, oh, awful. Am I saying that it's not an experience to go through? It's an absolute experience to go through when you lose somebody. You go through shock. You go through all kinds of different stages till you finally get to the place of acceptance. But when people die in our lives, they're teaching us something. They're reminding us that I don't have that much space. I don't have that much time. We're not going to talk about time right now, but, you know, heaven is space. It's spaciousness. So look at all the, right now, look around where you are. Look at all the space around where you're at. And then you're on earth. So now you're on heaven on earth. So how do you inhabit that space? What is life like through your eyes? How do you serve without telling people about it? How loving are you? How much love can you give? Do you hang around people that suck your energy away, and then you go tell your friends and family about it, and you just like to be around those type of like vampire people that just suck energy away? They're constantly negative. They guilt you. They shame you. They humiliate you. Right? Are you a people pleaser so that you don't care if the person's bad or good, just as long as they're giving you some sort of attention? You don't care, like you don't even care about yourself, like you care more about what other people think about you, and then before you know it, like you're frustrated because they're not doing what you want them to do, right? Death, when we confront it, ends all the nonsense. All of it. Every single bit of it. Right? You can't be superficial anymore. Right? All of a sudden you're just here. You're right here, hearing somebody. And you wake up in the morning and you're grateful. Just for here, just being here. You wake up, you're grateful, you hear the birds singing, you see the sky. And then the next thing happens, and maybe the sky clears up, and then it's just a clear sky. Oh, wow, this is amazing. And then, like, you're in the middle and there's traffic. All right, but everything's coming and going. You have no control. And when you know you're going to die, you don't even want to control anything. You just let it go. And you accept the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings and everything, because you know that it doesn't last. So thank you for joining me on our third talk here as the Deathwalker. Please pass this video along. If you want, you can subscribe. That would be awesome. And I appreciate you. And I look forward to see what comes out for talk number 4. Thank you.